All right, so we're diving deep into Bob Proctor's You Were Born Rich.
Yeah.
A whole audiobook can be a lot to take in, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna break it down,
Yeah.
find those key takeaways, the stuff you can actually use.
Yeah, and this audiobook, it's interesting how Proctor, he really kind of flips the script on what it means to be rich.
Okay.
Like right out of the gate, he says every human being has been born rich.
Whoa, that's a
Like,
bold statement.
it is.
I mean, I'm not walking around with a gold-plated, pacifier.
Right.
Right.
So what's he talking about there?
He's talking about a different type of wealth.
Ah.
It's not about, just the cash or the
Gotcha.
bank. It's really about the potential that
Okay.
we all have within us. The potential to create wealth,
Mm.
the potential to achieve our goals, to live a fulfilling life.
So it's like a mindset thing, not just a dollar amount.
Exactly. Abundance is a mindset, not just a number in your bank account.
I like that.
Yeah.
So where does money actually fit into this whole picture? Well, Proctor, he has this phrase that he uses. Love people and use money.
Love people and use money. It sounds
Okay.
simple, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like there's got to be more to it than that.
There is.
Like, how do you actually use money in that context?
It's a shift in perspective.
Okay.
You see, a lot of people, they chase after money as, the be-all and end-all.
Right.
But Proctor's saying, no, see it as a tool.
Okay.
A tool that you can use to make a difference.
So it's about using it for good, not just for personal gain.
Exactly.
Not hoarding it.
Not hoarding it, not being greedy, because he actually says the opposite is really a problem. Loving money more than people.
Right. That's never a good recipe.
No.
That's never going to lead you down a fulfilling path.
Right. It's about making a positive impact on the world.
And I feel like that's where the fulfillment comes in, right?
Exactly.
It's not about how much you accumulate, but what you do with it.
Yeah, because you can't take it with you.
But you can leave a positive mark on the world.
So, okay, we're born rich with this potential. But then there's that question of, how much is enough?
Right.
Because, I mean, we always want more, right? He talks about that
Yeah.
in the book, that idea of defining enough.
He does. And, he tells that great story
Yeah.
about the guys at the Edgewater Beach Hotel.
Yes, those wealthy financiers, right?
Yes. They had, incredible amounts of wealth.
Yeah, some of the wealthiest in the country.
But they said they already had all they wanted.
They defined what enough was for them.
They weren't chasing after more and more and more.
So it's not about constantly striving for more. It's about figuring out what truly makes you content.
Exactly.
And then making a plan to get there.
Yeah, and that's where Proctor's really practical too,
Okay.
He's not just saying, think happy thoughts and money will rain down from the sky.
Right.
He's saying you've got to create a financial plan.
So it's like that combination
Yeah.
of vision and action, right?
Absolutely.
Like knowing what you want and then taking those practical steps.
Yeah, having a roadmap.
Okay, speaking of vision, I found this whole image-making concept in the book really fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, how does that fit into all of this?
Well, Proctor's idea is basically our lives are shaped by the images that we hold in our minds.
Okay, so you have to see it to believe it, kind of thing.
In a way, yeah, it's like building a house, right?
Okay.
You start with a blueprint. You got to create that mental picture first.
Okay, and that's what he illustrates with that story about the minister and the farmer, right?
Yeah.
Where the minister's like, oh, God has blessed you with this incredible farm. And the farmer's like, no, I had a vision.
Right. He saw it in his mind first.
And he made it happen.
And he worked towards it.
So it's not just wishing. It's about having that clear vision.
Yes.
And then taking action.
And the faith
Yeah.
to believe in that vision.
Now, this is where I get a little tripped up. This whole letting go and letting God concept.
Yeah.
What is that all about?
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because, we're working towards these goals, making these plans.
Right. We're putting in the effort.
And then it's like, okay, now let go.
Yeah. It sounds kind of counterintuitive.
It does. What Proctor's getting at is surrendering.
Okay.
Surrendering those desires to a higher power, whether you call that, the universe or God or whatever it is for you.
So trusting that there's something bigger at play.
Trusting the process, yeah.
So it's about finding that balance
It is.
between action and surrender.
Yeah, you put in the work.
You put in the work, but you also trust.
You trust.
Yeah.
And it ties back to the image making too, right?
Okay.
You create that picture,
Okay.
but you also have to have faith.
You got to believe in it.
Yeah, trust that it will manifest.
So we've got the mindset, the action, and this element of trust.
Yes.
I'm starting to see how it all comes together.
Right. And, are you ready to dive into something else?
Yeah, lay it on me.
Because Proctor, he also talks about the law of vibration and attraction.
Okay, yeah, that one caught my attention.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with that? Like, if I just think about something really hard, will it magically appear?
Well, it would be nice, wouldn't it?
It would. It would make life a lot easier.
It would.
But how does it actually work?
Well, Proctor, he explains it like this. Everything vibrates, right?
Right.
Everything in the universe has a certain frequency,
Hmm.
our thoughts included,
Okay.
and like attracts, like,
Okay.
so the energy that we're putting out through our thoughts, it's attracting similar energy back to us.
And he uses that great analogy of the acorn,
Yes.
right? Like if you plant an acorn,
Yeah,
you expect an oak tree, not a rose bush.
exactly.
So it's the same with our
Yes,
thoughts.
it is.
If we're focused on negativity and lack, that's what we're going to get more of.
Right.
But if we're focused on abundance and possibility, that's what we attract.
Yeah, it's about becoming conscious of the energy that we're putting out into the world.
So it's not just about thinking positive thoughts. It's about really embodying that energy,
Exactly.
aligning ourselves with that frequency of abundance.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is making me think about all those times when I've been focused on what I don't have
Right.
instead of what I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
So it's about shifting that perspective.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah, and gratitude is huge, isn't
and
it?
gratitude, yeah.
Because when you're grateful for what you have, it's like you're saying to the universe, more of this, please.
I'll take more of that.
Okay, so we've established we're all born with this potential for wealth, this
Yeah.
inner richness, but then why are so many people so afraid to take risks?
That's a great question, and, Proctor addresses that head on in the book.
Okay.
And I think it's important to make a distinction here
Okay.
between taking risks and being reckless.
Right.
It's not about just blindly jumping into the unknown.
Okay.
You don't just jump off a cliff and hope for the best.
Yeah, no. It's about calculated action.
Got it.
He uses the example of stunt people in the movie industry.
Yeah.
These guys are putting themselves in risky situations all the time.
Yeah, they're on the edge.
But they're highly skilled.
Right. They know what they're doing.
They plan, they prepare.
Yeah.
They're not just, winging it.
Right. They have safety nets. They
Exactly.
thought it through.
It's about combining courage with competence.
Courage with competence.
Yeah.
So it's about being smart about it, not just reckless.
Bro. And, part of that is understanding that setbacks are going to happen, failures are going to happen.
Yeah.
But the key is resilience.
Right. Being able to bounce back.
Get back up and keep going.
Now, this brings us to another one of those concepts that kind of made me scratch my head a little bit.
Okay.
The razor's edge principle.
Yeah.
What is that about?
It sounds kind of intense, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Like I'm walking a tightrope.
But it's actually a very simple idea.
Okay.
It's about the tiny differences that can lead to big results in the long run.
So it's those little things, those little consistent efforts that can make a big difference.
Yeah, like imagine a race, right?
Okay.
You win by a fraction of a second.
Right.
It's those little margins.
So it's not always about the grand gestures. It's about the daily grind.
It's about showing up consistently, even when it's tough.
Yeah. And he tells that incredible story about Dr. DeVries.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Dr. Jarvik, the guys who pioneered the artificial heart.
Yeah, and Dr. DeVries had that mantra, rehearse, rehearse, rehearse.
Yeah.
Right.
He was all about preparation.
Yeah, and then Dr. Jarvik, rejected by all these medical schools,
Yeah.
but he didn't give up.
He didn't give up.
So it's that persistence, it's that extra mile that makes the difference.
So it's about those moments when you decide to push yourself a little harder
Exactly.
to go that extra mile.
Ex-
Okay, now this one really threw me for a loop.
Duh.
Thinking in reverse. I'm still wrapping my head around that one. What does that even mean?
It's a weird concept, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And it's really about getting stuck in the past.
Okay.
You're dwelling on your failures or the things that you think are holding you back.
Right. So it's like looking in the rearview mirror while you're driving.
Exactly.
You're going to crash.
You're going to crash.
You're not focused on where you're going.
Right. You got to keep your eyes on the road ahead.
Yeah, okay. So it's about letting go of those past experiences,
It is.
not letting them define us.
Yeah, focus on the future.
And he tells that amazing story about Bob Templeton and the 333 challenge.
Yeah, what a story.
Yeah, where they were trying to raise millions of dollars for tornado victims,
Right.
and they were hitting a wall.
They
They're
were
like,
hitting
we can't do this.
Too big, it's too much.
And then Templeton has this brilliant strategy.
The flip chart.
Yeah, the flip chart, why we can't and how we can.
Yeah.
And they just kept nexting all those negative thoughts.
Just kept moving forward.
Yeah. And they ended up raising $3 million in 3 hours, 3 days after that brainstorming session.
Incredible, right?
It's incredible.
The power of shifting your focus.
So it's about eliminating those self-imposed limitations.
Yeah.
Focusing on the possibilities.
Yes.
I like that.
And this whole concept of thinking in reverse, it really ties into another one of Proctor's principles,
Okay, what's that?
the vacuum law of prosperity. Have you heard of this one?
I have, but it sounds a little mysterious.
It does, a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's basically about creating space
Okay.
for new abundance to come in.
So it's like decluttering your mind and your physical space.
Exactly. Getting rid of the old stuff that's
Yeah.
no longer serving you.
Beliefs, habits, even possessions.
Yeah, anything that's weighing you down.
Okay, so it's about making room for the new.
Exactly. Create that vacuum, and the universe will rush to fill it.
I love that image. So as we move on to explore some of these principles in more detail, I want you to think about what resonates with you. What are you ready to let go of
That's a good question.
to make space for that abundance that Proctor says we're all born with?
I think we're all holding on to something we can let go of.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah.
So let's dig into that a bit more.
Let's do it. It's interesting. It's not all just mindset and positive thinking.
Right.
Proctor, he really brings in the strong element of personal responsibility.
Yeah, I appreciate that about his work.
Yeah.
So easy to just kind of sit back and wait for things to happen, but he's
yeah.
like, no, you got to take charge.
You got to be proactive. You're in the driver's seat.
And it's not just about money either. Right?
No, not at all.
It's about abundance in all areas.
Yeah, your health, your relationship.
Yeah, purpose, happiness.
Exactly. It's about living a rich and fulfilling life in every sense of the word.
And that makes me think of what he says about service.
Yes.
That idea that true wealth often comes from providing value to others.
It's that love people, use money concept in action, right?
It is.
It's not about hoarding. It's about making a difference.
Yeah, and I love how he talks about shifting from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset.
Right, because when you believe there's not enough to go around,
Yeah, you're constantly competing.
you're always grasping, you're never satisfied.
Yeah,
But when you believe there's enough for everyone,
there's more to go around.
you can be generous, you can help others.
And in doing so,
yeah.
you actually create more abundance for yourself.
Exactly. It's like that rising tide lifts all boats.
Now, one thing that I think a lot of people might struggle with
Yeah.
is this whole idea of letting go and letting God.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
It is, because it requires a lot of trust.
It does. Trust in yourself.
Yeah.
Trust in something bigger than yourself.
Trust in the process,
And surrendering control can be scary for a lot of people.
especially when it comes to something like finances, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's not about being passive.
Right.
It's about taking action, but also having that surrender.
It's that delicate dance.
Yeah.
Between effort and allowing.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I really appreciate about Proctor is that
Yeah.
he doesn't just talk about these vague concepts.
Right.
He gives very practical advice.
Yeah, he's very action-oriented.
And I loved how he emphasized the importance of creating a detailed financial plan.
Yeah, that's crucial, isn't it?
It is.
You can't just wish for wealth.
Right.
We got to have a plan.
You got to have a roadmap.
You got to get specific about your goals.
So setting clear financial targets,
Yeah.
developing a budget, making informed investment decisions.
Yeah, and then being disciplined
Yeah.
and sticking to that plan.
Remember the razor's edge, those
Yeah.
small, consistent actions?
Yes, that's where the real magic happens.
Okay, but what about those people who are like, I'm already in debt. How can I even think about creating wealth?
Right, it's a valid question.
Yeah.
And Proctor acknowledges that, people are starting from different places.
Right.
But what he emphasizes is that mindset shift.
Okay.
Even when your circumstances are tough.
So even if you're in a difficult situation,
Yeah.
you can still cultivate that abundance mindset.
Yes, it's about focusing on what you do have.
Yeah, your strengths.
Your resources, yeah.
Instead of dwelling on what you lack.
And taking those small steps. Maybe it's creating a budget.
Yeah.
Maybe it's paying down a little bit of debt.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
finding ways to increase your income.
It's about taking control.
It is. It's about empowerment.
Yeah, and that makes me think about the story of Bob Templeton
Oh, yeah.
and his team raising all that money for the tornado victims.
What an inspiring story.
Yeah, they didn't focus on the lack of resources.
It focused on solutions.
They found a way.
They
And that's what Proctor's all about, right?
Yeah, it's about believing in your ability to overcome challenges.
So it's not about ignoring the problems,
Right.
but it's about having that solution-oriented mindset.
Exactly. And another thing that can really help is surrounding yourself with the right people.
Okay, like a support system.
Yeah, your own personal cheerleading squad.
People who believe in you.
Yeah, who uplift you and inspire you.
Because, when you're trying to make a big change in your life,
It's so much easier when you have people in your corner.
yeah, it could be really challenging.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to gratitude again.
Oh, yes. Gratitude is so powerful.
It is.
It's such a simple practice,
Yeah.
but it can really shift your whole perspective.
So appreciating what you have.
Yeah. Focusing on the good.
Even the small things.
Even the small things, because that opens you up to receiving more.
It's like you're saying thank you to the universe.
Exactly. More of this, please.
And what I love about gratitude is that it's contagious.
It is. You can spread it around.
So by expressing appreciation to others,
You're not only lifting your own spirits, you're lifting theirs, too.
and you're creating this ripple effect of positivity.
Absolutely. And speaking of positivity,
Mm-hmm.
we were talking about not thinking in reverse earlier.
Right? Right.
Letting go of the past.
So how do we actually do that?
It's a conscious choice.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that the past is over.
You can't change it?
You can learn from it,
And from it, yeah.
but you can't dwell on it.
Okay.
You got to keep your eyes on the road ahead.
Like that rear view mirror analogy again.
Exactly.
You're not going to get where you want to go if you're always looking back.
Right, you're going to end up crashing.
And Proctor, he uses the story of the minister and the farmer again here, right?
He does, yeah.
The farmer didn't dwell on his past struggles.
He had a vision, and he focused on making that vision a reality.
So it's really about where we choose to focus our attention.
It is. Our focus determines our reality.
If we're looking back, we miss out on the opportunities that are right in front of us.
Right, you got to be present, you got to be looking forward.
Now, speaking of opportunities, Proctor talks a lot about the importance of taking risks.
Yes, calculated risk.
Calculated risks,
Yeah.
right? Because I think a lot of people here take risks and they're like, whoa, 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 that's scary.
It can be, but it's important to differentiate between calculated risks and just, reckless behavior.
So how do you define a calculated risk?
Well, it's a risk that's aligned with your goals, your values.
Okay.
You've thought it through, you've done your research.
So it's not just a blind leap of faith.
No, it's an informed decision.
Okay. And you're prepared for the potential consequences.
Exactly, and you're also prepared to fail.
Because failure is part of the process, right?
It is, it's inevitable.
He uses the stunt people analogy again here.
Yeah, those guys are pros.
They know what they're doing.
They take risks, but they're calculated risks.
Yeah, they have safety nets in place.
Exactly. It's about combining courage with competence.
I like that. Courage with competence.
Yeah.
So it's about stepping outside of your comfort zone,
Yeah.
but doing it in a way that feels both exciting and safe.
Right. You don't want to be reckless, but you also don't want to let fear hold you back.
And I think a good way to start taking calculated risks is to start small.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to make these huge sweeping changes all at once.
Baby steps build up that momentum.
Yeah, and as you gain confidence, you can take on bigger challenges.
Right. It's a process, not a destination.
Okay, so we've talked about mindset, action, gratitude, risk-taking.
Yeah.
But there's one more principle that I want to explore in more detail.
Okay.
The vacuum law of prosperity.
I love this one.
This one really speaks to me because it's about creating space
Yes.
for new abundance to come in.
It's so powerful.
So it's like decluttering, both physically and mentally.
Exactly. Getting rid of anything that's no longer serving you.
Okay. Beliefs, habits, even possessions.
Yeah. Create that void, that vacuum.
And the universe will rush in to fill it.
That's the idea.
I love that analogy.
So think about it. Like, if your closet's full of clothes you never wear,
Right.
it's hard to find the things you actually want. But if you clear out the clutter,
Yeah.
you make space for new things that you love.
So it's the same with our minds, our beliefs, our habits.
Yeah, if you're holding on to old stuff that's no longer serving you,
Yeah.
it's going to block the new good stuff from coming in.
So how do we actually put this principle into practice?
Well, it starts with awareness.
Okay.
Take some time to reflect on your beliefs, your habits,
Your possessions.
your relationships even.
So really taking inventory of your life.
Yeah, and asking yourself, is this still serving me? Is this aligned with my goals?
And once you identify what you need to let go of,
then you can start taking steps to release it.
And it doesn't have to be this big, dramatic thing,
Right,
right?
absolutely not.
It can be small steps.
Baby steps.
Ah.
Maybe it's decluttering your desk.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's ending a relationship that's no longer healthy.
Right, so it's about finding what works for you
Exactly.
and trusting that process of letting go.
And knowing that change can be challenging,
Yeah,
but it's always worth it when it leads you to a better place.
and that's really what Proctor's all about, right?
Yeah, he has this unwavering faith in human potential.
Yeah,
He believes that we're all capable of achieving amazing things.
regardless of where we're starting from.
Exactly, and that's such an empowering message.
It is. It's like he's saying, hey, you've got everything you need within you to succeed.
You've got this.
But I think a lot of people struggle with self-doubt,
Oh, absolutely.
those negative thoughts that creep in.
Yeah, those kinks in our thinking that Proctor talks about.
So how do we overcome those?
Well, it's about becoming aware of those limiting beliefs
Okay.
and then challenging them.
So replacing them with more positive affirmations.
Yeah, visualizing yourself, achieving your goals.
Surrounding yourself with supportive people.
Exactly.
And taking action.
Yes, action is key.
Even when you're afraid.
Especially when you're afraid.
Oh, that's where the growth happens, right?
It is. It's about stepping outside of your comfort zone.
He quotes Goethe, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do.
I love that quote.
It's a good one.
It's about turning knowledge into action,
Yeah.
dreams into reality.
And that reminds me of the story of Dr. Jarvik.
Oh, yeah.
The guy who designed the artificial heart.
Rejected by all those medical schools?
But he didn't give up.
What a testament to persistence.
It is. It's about believing in yourself.
So, setbacks and failures, they're not the end of the story.
No, they're just part of the journey.
They're opportunities to learn and grow.
Exactly, and come back stronger.
And that brings us to this idea of image making again, right?
Yes, because when you have a clear vision
Yeah.
of what you want to achieve,
It helps you to stay focused.
it does, even when things get tough.
It's like a beacon in the distance.
Yeah, and it's not just about seeing it in your mind. It's about feeling it.
Okay.
That emotional connection to your vision.
So feeling the excitement, the anticipation.
Yes, because that fuels your actions.
And that makes me think about the importance of finding work that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Something that lights you up.
Something that gives you energy.
Because when you're aligned with your purpose.
Work doesn't feel like work anymore.
Yeah.
It's like a natural expression of who you are.
Now, this might sound a little woo-woo.
Okay.
But Proctor talks about trusting the universe.
Yes, he does.
How does that fit in with personal responsibility?
It's about that balance again, isn't it?
Okay.
Effort and surrender.
Yeah.
It's not about sitting back and just waiting for things to happen.
Right. You got to take action.
But it's also about trusting that there's something bigger at play.
Okay.
That the universe is conspiring to support you.
So having faith that things will work out.
Even when you don't know how.
Even when you don't know how? Okay.
And being open to guidance.
Yeah.
From unexpected sources.
So it's about surrendering control.
Yeah.
But also taking action.
It's a dance.
It is a dance, yeah.
And it's a practice.
It's not something you just master overnight.
No, it's an ongoing journey.
So we've talked about a lot of different principles.
We have.
Mindset, action, gratitude, risk-taking.
Surrender.
Trust.
And it all seems to come back to this idea of perspective. It does, doesn't it?
Like how we choose to see the world.
Our perspective shapes our reality.
If we see lack and limitation, that's what we're going to get.
Right.
But if we see abundance and possibility,
that's what we attract.
So it's about becoming conscious creators of our own reality.
Choosing to focus on the good even when things are tough.
And believing that we have the power to create the life we want.
Exactly. It's about stepping into your power. So
as we move on to the final part of our deep dive, I want you to think about this.
Yeah.
What shifts in perspective can you make today?
That's a good question.
To start creating more abundance in your life?
Yeah. What can you start seeing differently?
What can you start believing in?
What new possibilities can you open yourself up to?
I think that's a great place to leave it for now.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what we uncover in the next part.
As we've been talking, I keep thinking about this whole idea of the subconscious mind.
Yeah.
Proctor really emphasizes it.
He does. It's like this hidden superpower we all have.
This powerful force that's shaping our reality.
Yeah, exactly.
But the key is, how do we actually work with it?
Right, because it's not enough to just think positive thoughts. You have to really impress those thoughts on the subconscious.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, Proctor, he explains it like this. The subconscious mind, it doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined.
Oh, wow.
So if you're constantly feeling it, negative thoughts, fears, doubts,
It's going to make those things real.
yeah, it's going to work tirelessly to bring those things into your life.
That's kind of scary, but also kind of fascinating.
It is. It's a double-edged sword.
So that's where those mental exercises come in, right?
Yeah, exactly. The visualizations, the affirmations,
Okay.
acting as if you already have what you want.
So it's about really imprinting those desires.
Yes, on the subconscious mind.
So by repeatedly focusing on those outcomes,
You're essentially reprogramming your mind. Like you're changing the software.
I'll get it.
And over time, those new thought patterns become your default.
Yeah. Becomes your natural way of thinking and being.
And that's when things start to shift in your external reality, right?
Exactly. That's when the magic happens.
And that makes me think about the letting go and letting God principle.
Yeah.
Is that part of working with the subconscious too?
It's definitely connected because when you surrender,
Yeah.
you're tapping into that deeper part of yourself.
Okay.
You're trusting that your subconscious mind knows how to guide you.
So it's not about giving up control.
No, it's about aligning your conscious intentions
Yeah.
with the power of your subconscious.
It's just like a partnership.
Between the conscious and the subconscious.
Working together. Like that. And this idea of reprogramming your mind, it can apply to anything, you know?
So if I have limiting beliefs about money, relationships, whatever.
Yeah, you can use these same techniques
Okay.
to shift those beliefs.
So it's about recognizing those patterns
Yeah,
and then consciously choosing to change them.
exactly. And it takes time, it takes effort.
Yeah, our brains are pretty amazing though, right?
They're so adaptable.
So we're not stuck with those old patterns.
No, you have the power to change,
I like that.
but you have to take action.
Action always comes back to action.
It's not enough to just think it. You got to do it.
Proctor, he really walks the talk, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. He's all about taking action.
And it doesn't have to be these huge, massive actions.
No, start small.
Small steps.
Remember the razor's edge. Consistency is key.
Okay, so build momentum, take those small steps, and trust the process.
Trust the process.
But what about failure?
Yeah, failure is a big one, isn't it?
It's scary,
It is, but it's inevitable.
so we can't let it paralyze us.
You can't. And you know, every successful person has failed at some point.
He tells that story about Dr. Jarvik again.
Oh, yeah, rejected by all those medical schools.
But he didn't give up.
He didn't give up.
What an amazing example.
It is. It's about resilience.
So we got to reframe our perspective on failure.
Yes. See it as a learning opportunity.
Not the end of the world.
Exactly. It's a stepping stone.
Okay, so embrace the setbacks, learn from them, and keep moving forward.
And you know, something that can really help with this is developing a growth mindset.
Growth mindset, okay.
Yeah, it's about embracing challenges, seeing them as opportunities to learn and grow.
So you're constantly as a giving.
Exactly. And your abilities are not fixed. They can be developed.
So celebrate the progress.
Yes.
No matter how small.
Focus on what you're learning along the way.
I like that. Okay, so now we're talking about purpose.
Yeah, finding your purpose.
Proctor, he really emphasizes that.
He does. And it's about aligning yourself with something bigger than yourself.
So what is it that lights you up? What gets you excited?
Yeah. What makes you feel alive?
Because when you connect with your purpose,
Work doesn't feel like work.
it's like you're in flow.
Exactly. And you're making a positive impact on the world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Bob Proctor's You Were Born Rich,
Yeah.
I hope you're walking away with this sense of possibility
Yeah, that you have everything you need within you
to create the life you want.
to achieve your dreams, to live a life of abundance and joy.
So trust in your own potential
Take action.
and never start believing in the power of your dreams.
The world needs your unique gifts.
Go out there and make it happen.